know growing a business has pain points. We've all been there, right? We find ways to make our selling processes more effective, quicker, streamlined. However, most of us don't build an entire company around our necessity. Necessity to grow their business is what led Amanda and Clara to build this perfectly from the ground up. Welcome, Amanda and Clara.
Hi, thank you for having us. Hi, thanks.
I'm so excited today. I think we just need to just dive right in. There are so many questions that Doug and I have to share with the community. Is that okay?
Yes, let's do it. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
All right. So let's go back to before List Perfectly and the Clothing Vault. Take us on your reseller journey. How did it start? What did you sell?
Oh my goodness. I should start on this one. I have a very interesting story.
Go ahead.
When I was 9 years old, unfortunately, my dad died. By the age of 11, my mom had 3 jobs. It wasn't enough in Argentina. We were going through a very deep inflation and we were coming under siege. So I decided to start selling candies in the breaks of the school, and the school let me do it. So I was only 11 years when I would buy those big bags of candy, and then I would sell it individually, and I would make at least 200% of my money back. And I still remember buying my first pair of Adidas by myself.
Wow.
At 11 years old, hustling candy at school.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
love it.
For me, I actually started a vegetarian food business in Los Angeles before being a reseller. That didn't work out. But the process of reselling my equipment from that business led me to the reseller world, because I actually sold the equipment for more than I paid for it. And I was like, wait a second, there's really something to this. So that really got me going.
Wow.
So from there, you built Studio
216. Yep.
So there you built Studio 216, and you grew and expanded that. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. I was lucky because right when I sold my equipment, I was looking for, knowledge and experience. I had never resold before. This is back in 2003. eBay was still very much a young and up and coming company. And luckily where I lived, there was a reseller in the community. And he had actually posted a want ad for some help. So I joined him. I learned all about vintage clothing. I had no idea that vintage clothing selling online was even a thing. And through that experience, I thought, wow, this is really remarkable. I mean, you can find these treasures out there and resell them. So I was very lucky that I had some tutoring before actually going full on in. And, I learned a lot about profit margins and how to pick the right items. And it's very much a science.
That it is.
What's that?
I lost my spot. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. So do you want to, what platform did the Clothing Vault start on?
So you grew the Clothing Vault, vintage clothing. At that time, what platform or platforms were you selling on? What year was this? Take us back, the Clothing Vault.
Oh my God. What was it? 2008? 2009. And of course, I wanted to get some organization on the business. So I wanted a new name. The Clothing Vault came. I wanted to do trademark. I wanted to get the domains and everything. So everything started with, we wanted to send more traffic to eBay. So first we did like a little landing page, which was pretty much promoting our eBay shop. And that we were like, wow, this is working, Yeah. And then I was like, okay, hold on a second. I'm going to do some Pinterest, okay? And at that time, Pinterest was like Instagram right now. So it was like, wow, it's working. And I start seeing my sales increasing. And at that time, everybody was doing free shipping. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do free shipping. I'm going to charge face value of the shipping, right? But we're not going to do that. And we started to see sales didn't decrease. So there were, Amanda is, of course, at that time, I'm already having some challenges with my arthritis, and she decides, hey, why don't we go multi-channel?
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized manual cross-posting was the worst thing that could happen to someone that has arthritis.
Yeah, horrible. It was just terrible. Between the time it took to create the listings, to photograph all the items, and then add more channels, but we just said we know that there's a way to do this, and back in those days we created Microsoft Word templates, and so that was actually early List Perfectly.
600 templates. We would have templates for everything. So that's when she's like, we should build something for templating, and of course. Her and I, it's like we start feeding of each other. Well, if we're going to do something for templates, why don't we do just something? What about the product description box? And that's how everything started. What if we can copy that description box? And then I show her, hey, look, this is another channel, Instagram. I started Instagram very early for the clothing vault as well. So that started to promote all of my shops. And then we added Etsy with the early version of Liz Clothing. Then we started to add the website that now has a checkout, and that was amazing. That was a beautiful website that Amanda built for me, and I could manage it myself completely with no tech knowledge. I took it down, that website, 20 times. She would bring it back in 15 minutes. I love it. It was an incredible experience, the most beautiful thing.
Yeah. And this is back in, so if you really look at a timeline, I would say around 2010 is, if you think about the earliest inception of List Perfectly, it was probably 2010 when we were full on with our templates, and they were pretty advanced. They were not just your average Word templates. Like one day I'll share, they were full on forms that with a click of a button, you would erase all the information, and only the key information, the text that you would always repeat would show. They were very advanced, but it got to a point where we thought, we have so many, 600 templates, we should be putting these on a server at this point. And now we have all these channels, we really need to connect all the channels together. And to combine the templates and the multi-channel selling really required a custom solution. And this is something that we conceived of as early as 2011, 2012,
and even earlier, because we spent a year, we tried to hire developers before Amanda is like, okay, I'm done, and I'm going to teach myself coding. Okay. And it was a year of people telling us, no, you'll never make it. And it was just very, very, it's very hard as two women in technology to create a minimal bio product that is innovative technology. Is like, there is a lot of resistance. So we realized that we had to do this ourselves. And let me tell you, Liz and Doug, that was incredible. Now you go and put all your money, invest all your money on a historian that doesn't have coding experience. And then she's going to build a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, wait. Let's rewind, okay?
Well, you think back to 2010, and I, as I'm listening to you, I'm trying to think of where I was at in 2010 with reselling. I'm pretty sure there were no apps for any of the marketplaces. Nobody took their pictures with their phones. So what we take for granted today to just pick up our phone and take some pictures and upload it and type some words, that just wasn't even a thing. Like, there was an entire process.
Yeah.
So when I think back and like, okay, what was I doing back there? I'm like, okay, let me take pictures. Let me put my SD card in. Let me upload it to this site. Let me pay for another program to upload it to the site that doesn't do anything but hold my photos. And then I've got to copy and paste it. And then I've got, like, it was a whole process for one item. So for anybody listening that's been reselling and you're just on your phone, like, this is an entire process. And I can tell you, most sellers in 2010 were not thinking about SEO. We're not thinking about taking a website and driving traffic to get to the marketplace. This is some serious stuff. I mean, I wasn't a full-time reseller back then, but I was connected to the community and, had reseller friends. And when I listen to this, I'm thinking, wow, that was just 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it could have been like 2 or 3 years ago with everything that you were doing. So that's amazing. I'm sorry. I'm just, thinking back to 2010,
Well, I just want to say this one thing. When you think about it, selling, even though the technology has improved and the process might be different, selling online is the same. It's always going to be the same.
See?
You know, at the end of the day, you want to create listings that buyers love, that attract attention, that people find and then convert to buyers. That is never going to change.
Absolutely agree.
And so let's, at the height of the clothing vault, sorry about that. That conversation was totally like, you kids selling now have it so much easier. Back in the day, we had to.
Yeah, that's true.
So at the height of the clothing vault, how many listings would you say that you had?
3,000, almost 4,000.
Wow.
But we were selling so fast. The challenge was to keep the inventory up. We were just selling so fast that it was very difficult.
30 packages a day, Liz. I was on track to do $500,000 when I have to let go of the clothing vault and put all my chickens in Liz Perfectly. And that was hard, let me tell you. That was very hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so interesting to me. So you've got the clothing vault at the height. You're doing 30 packages a day. Yep. Amanda's learning and building a program for you to improve your processes and cross list. At what point did the business say, let's move away from the clothing vault and focus more on List Perfectly? I'm interested to hear like that story. That's got to be a hard one.
Challenging. It was so hard because we couldn't see eye to eye. Amanda is let go of the clothing vault, but you got to understand I'm the only investor. So what I did, in order to, you have to choose your battles carefully, you know, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my partner. I'm going to let go of the clothing vault. I'm going to dedicate myself fully to List Perfectly. And I started to accrue the debt myself because technology is very expensive. And I knew that I wanted done my way. So I started to finance that literally with the credit cards, with any loans. I went to all my former employers. I asked them to give them a loan. They did. Thank you, CD. Thank you, Chase. Thank you so much, Bank of America. Incredible. I almost got to $200,000 in debt on credit cards, please, just to keep going. And that's it. And just when you are like, oh my God, what am I? I was about to call my wholesaler, okay, as a plan B and ask him, okay, to give me, what would you say when they give you just the clothing
on credit.
On credit.
Give us inventory.
I had only $1,500 left of savings, okay, when LP with List Perfectly started to generate revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty desperate for a while. You know, they say startup journeys are, you know, it's very much an up and down cycle, and we know that firsthand. It was very touch and go for a little while. We didn't know if we'd be able to make it to launch List Perfectly, and
but we knew that we were going to leave nothing behind. I said, that's it. We're going to go with everything, and wherever this goes, we did our best.
Yeah.
And at what point did you decide to open it up to other resellers?
Oh, we always wanted that. That was, we started very early doing that. With the, I have to.
Well, I was gonna share at what point I felt it was ready. I know that
Marco.
So
no. That this is okay. You want to tell the story?
Okay.
Is that so? Or do I say it?
Well, if you want, go ahead.
Please, because this was okay. So we decided to test, back then, this clothing with other sellers, and who better to try it with our wholesalers because they're also selling, right? So we give them access to the platform. We're doing good or whatever. So it's working. And then some of a sudden, of course, they change their business model. They don't need the software anymore, but we got all the information we needed. And I'm like, okay, Amanda, turn it off. And I'm like, no, we didn't build that. And I'm like, okay, so we have to manually go physically and install it. I know it was.
This was in 2015. Imagine. So we actually had our first customer in 2015, and so what we realized, what we learned from that experience was that in order to really make this successful, we saw Poshmark as an up and coming marketplace. And we always knew we have to integrate with Poshmark for this to really take off. But there wasn't a way. There is no, if you understand anything about technology, you understand that you typically need a connection to the marketplace, which didn't exist. So you had to invent it. And that's what we did. We put all of our energy, time, literally, well, neither one of us got any sleep. I mean, we just had to think our way out of this problem.
What about, oh my God, I'll never forget. I have to tell you, Mandy, what about that time that I woke up and I told her, Mandy, this is not it. This is not it. Go and do something. You can do better. I told her, go, you have to figure this out, and this is not it. And to tell Amanda, okay, that what we had at that point, which we had eBay and Etsy, and tell her, hey, this is not it. We need something really different. You need to think out of the box. I don't know how you're going to do it. Good luck. And I remember saying that to her, and I was like, oh, did I go so hard? Because you got to give confidence to your partner. We feed out of positive energy, right? But when you're so sure about it, and I was like, you're going to do something amazing. And I could see it. I could see this perfectly back then. I always knew. Yeah. I always believed in you.
Oh, and you are always the cheerleader, I would say. She's amazing.
Well, and and you look at it, and what people have to understand is that isn't even your background, right, Amanda? You're self-taught. You self-taught and built this. And Clara had that confidence. She knew that you had that in you to be able to push yourself and build something. So we talked about, building lists perfectly. You built it, you're ready to launch it to customers, right? You had your test, you're ready to launch it to customers. I know when I found out about you, but what was that push? What made you wake up and say, I think other sellers, there's a ton of sellers out here, they could probably benefit. At what point was that? And how did you offer this to the community?
Yeah, because we were doing so well with our reseller business. Like Clara said, we're on the verge of making $500,000. And that was the moment that we realized that, what we saw in the community back then was a lot of not sharing. It's not the community that it is today. Everyone's very secretive. Everyone was, hey, I'm not going to give away my secrets because it might, affect me. And I always thought differently. I always thought the internet is big enough for all of us. And there's plenty of supply out there. There's plenty of opportunity for everybody. And so, we really, Clara and I just we knew that, we had a decision. We could either keep this technology, hoard it for ourselves and keep pressing with our business, or do something meaningful and give it to other people and let them flourish. And that's honestly the heart and soul of the decision behind launching it. It wasn't because, this could be a tech company and we can make money. We genuinely thought this would change people's lives. And that's honestly at the point that we knew that we had to bring this to people.
And to add to Amanda's thought, coming from a country that is in development or third world, I've never seen a penny, okay? I've seen all kinds of organizations helping the third world, and I never got anything. I didn't get one antibiotic. I had already kidney failure by the age of 15. I never seen anything. No help. I didn't even get a box of flour. So I knew very early that myself and my work and my hands will get me out of the situation of desperation and poverty. So for me, commerce is the big equalizer. It's the access to a dignified job. It's your option. And for me, that has to be shared. You can't die no, that's very selfish. You got to share and to help our community. And then I guess we were never ready with Amanda with the overwhelming support of the community. I knew you guys would support us, but so overwhelming and such a high demand that fits you and keeps you. And it becomes, I don't know if it is addiction, but it becomes such a good habit. You don't know, it's not a job.
Right. Yeah. And, you talk about that, I want to share it. I met you at eBay Open 2019, correct? Really quick. You went to eBay Open 2019. What was your expectation with that?
No, okay, no, we gotta tell them. Did you know that we were counting pennies? So that's the reason I couldn't afford a ticket to get into eBay. So I was on the front door, okay, passing, little flyers. eBay let me do so, okay. Thank you, eBay, and of course Teresa, of course, always helping. So we were expecting 300 signups. I was like, one day I'm gonna get 300 customers and I'm gonna make them very happy. What about 500? That's even better. 1,500 overnight. That was what?
Out of eBay Open.
Wow.
So yeah, so many sellers saw the benefit of List Perfectly.
Yeah, and it was so touching because prior to that, we had the lucky fortune of meeting Teresa Cox. Here, she's based in Phoenix. So I went to a meetup group, and this was earlier that year. And I didn't even think about going to eBay Open at that time, but meeting Teresa, getting to know the local group here, it just seemed like everyone was so excited to go. I said, this is where the community is going. So we're going to be there.
Yeah.
And
one way or the other, we're going to be there.
We're going to get there. And so, it was a fortunate chain of events that led us to the community and
our determination.
Yeah, absolutely. Our determination. Yeah, 100%.
Because let me tell you, Liz, I was so nervous passing you remember little flyers of List Perfectly, and I'm on the front door of eBay. Sheriffs are passing by, eBay security is passing by, and I'm like, oh my God. And of course I have, I'm a seller, so I'm like, I know that I'm walking on eggshells, and I love that eBay somehow supported us. They were very kind. Amanda was inside, and the fun part turned out to be that I was outside because I could see everybody coming in and out. It was so entertaining. We had so much fun on eBay Open.
Yeah. I did too.
Me too. Do you want to ask that waitlist question, Liz? I think that's interesting too, because it kind of segues with what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I skipped over what you said because that conversation just flowed. Like,
No, it's cool.
I skipped that question because it just went right in. Yeah. So let's see.
So we can say, after the 1,500 people that we had overnight, pretty much that was a consequence of the waiting list.
Where is that question even at? Oh my gosh. It's like, did you take it off the screen? It doesn't matter.
No,
I'll just ask.
Can you see the highlight there?
Oh, yeah. I was looking for a big paragraph. Okay. So after eBay Open, that exceeded your expectation. I remember I came home and I looked into it, and there was such a buzz in the eBay community about, well, I met these people from List Perfectly at eBay Open. I went to their site and there was a wait list. There was a huge buzz about List Perfectly has a wait list. Can you tell us about that and what the motivation was behind a wait list? Like, you said it exploded.
Desperation. So at that time, of course, our system was not ready for 1,500 very determined and pro sellers, because that's what List Perfectly, our unlimited concept, brought the more advanced sellers. So we were not ready. So we were crashing every hour, every 2 hours. So we're like, oh my God. So I have to close a group of List Perfectly. Okay. I have to ask questions. Then we put a waiting list. Okay. And then we would delay the onboarding as the server was, and the tech team was trying. At that time was Amanda, literally, and another developer, our tech team. So that was it. That's what we planned.
I'll tell you what happened. So because this didn't exist for a lot of sellers before. So when we got the 1,500 overnight, they all came with closets and stores of 1,000, 2,000 listings, and they were literally like cross posting all of their inventory all at once. So what we,
And we're watching. I'm like, oh my God, these people don't sleep. I'm like, and they're
Nope.
it was so one thing that we realized is okay, we need to make sure whoever is on the site, gets through their inventory and has a good experience, because if we keep onboarding people, and this is the pattern that everybody is so excited to cross post everything all at once, we need to make sure and meter it and make sure that let's some stoplights on the server.
Yeah, no, I totally remember that. And I remember thinking, wow, there's a wait list. But you know what? I appreciated that so much because to me, it showed that, hey, we want to make it right for our customers before we let more in. And so you were prepared. You were wanting 500. You were wanting 300. You were prepared for 500, and you got 1,500 overnight. So I can tell you, from the community aspect, that was really appreciated. And I think that it really showed that you cared about the people that wanted to use your products. Absolutely. So I thought that was very important to tell, and something that I, being in the community, really appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. No, our customers always come first to us since day one. We always want to make sure that everybody has a good experience. And we're always working every single day towards making it better and improving.
Mm-hmm.
And so Clara, so I imagine it goes back to your pitch at the door. So all these people are walking in and you're handing out the flyers and all the hustle and bustle. So all this craziness, what was your pitch? Why would people jump on this tool?
Oh,
what would you tell people?
Oh, yeah, just give it a try. That was it. I kept it very simple. I wanted just to branding awareness. Here is, a little discount if you want to try us out. But pretty much was guerrilla marketing. I was just my shoulders. I was using both hands to spread it. And they were. Let me tell you, as someone with arthritis, my shoulders were killing me the next day. Yeah. And that's when the next day we did some social events, and we went live like with Breaking Profit. So that was really nice. And we did some nice stuff. Support from the community was very nice.
Yeah, it obviously worked.
People definitely saw the benefit in what List Perfectly had to offer, clearly. To this day, you continue to grow. I've been a customer for over a year. I started with the simple plan. I grew to the business plan because I was like, oh, light bulb, I can do. Actually, no, I'm going to back up. List Perfectly at the time only had a handful. I shouldn't say only had a handful of platforms that I was interested in cross-listing to. And then you kept adding features. And I'm like, this is a cool feature. This is a cool feature. And then you introduce the bulk cross-listing to where you can do more than once. And I think I made a post. I was like, I called it the magic button. I was like, it's magic. And it totally sold me on the business plan. And after using the business plan, I moved on to the pro plan because you did a webinar and I totally saw the benefits for my business to move to the pro plan. From that, I've seen List Perfectly continue to grow. This past year has not been easy for anybody. Right? So if I want to just kind of touch on 2020 was just an odd year for everybody. How did that affect List Perfectly? Did it slow you down? Did it speed you up? Did it drive you?
Drive us. Yeah. Drive us because we're taking advantage of this quarantine to hyper focus in our community. So we like to travel a lot. We're both travel a lot. And so we travel around the world to source product. So it's, and even deliver product, okay, personally to some buyers. We did some incredible, we had such a nice time as sellers. So it doesn't affect us. Of course, we get a little, sometimes too much in the house, but it's the community. We're so, what would you say? Connected. We're so connected for the community. There is no time for feeling homesick. There is no time for feeling claustrophobic or anxious.
And for me, what really touched me is seeing all the stories of people picking up reselling because they lost their job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, from that standpoint, I feel that it's our mission
Mhm.
to make resellers' lives profitable. And that's what we strive to do. And, part of reselling is, you make mistakes, you learn, and that's okay. But if you have software to help you to shave time off of your daily tasks, don't spend time doing mundane tasks. Get out there, source whatever you need to do to make it successful. And a piece of technology can make the world of difference from being a slave to your business to a thriving business.
Well said, Amanda. Thank you.
Yes, I've seen that in the community a lot. People expanding and they're at home now a little more and they have time to explore more than one platform. So somebody on Poshmark can use the tool to go and say, I want to explore Facebook Marketplace. I want to explore Etsy, or somebody from eBay that's been selling on the platform for 20 years. They're like, wow, I've got this time. I'm at home now. My life has kind of changed. Let me explore this. And I've really seen that in the community too. I
was surprised to see how many eBayers, started to sell in Poshmark. That was incredible for me. As a former eBayer myself, full time, I listed on Poshmark, but I was surprised to see, so many from eBay, so many eBayers selling on so many different platforms, like you said, trying.
I agree.
So I'll jump in on what Liz said, talking about the growth over the last couple of years and how did 2020 affect Liz perfectly. So obviously 2021 is an adjustment to a huge e-commerce growth in 2020. So what do you see, where do you see e-commerce going this year? What's the next horizon? And it's like, you're always pivoting, you're always adjusting, but where do you see overall things going this year in e-commerce?
Well, it's no secret that e-commerce is exploding in growth. Just a few short years ago, as online sellers, we were told that you can't make money as online sellers. It was a crazy idea to a lot of people with brick and mortar stores that online sales would be where they are today. But honestly, Clara and I always saw it from day one since we got into online sales. We always knew there was incredible room for growth, but the pandemic just accelerated that. And so what we're going to see now is even more online sales. A lot of the barriers in the past were trust issues, right? Am I really going to get the product as described? Is my money just going to go into a black hole? Well, a lot of those problems have been solved by things that marketplaces have done. So we're going to see a lot of improvements and efficiencies being made in the online sales space.
Absolutely. I can see how different platforms are really putting more care into additional features. That is when I started e-commerce 11 years ago, I used to see how all the benefits were for sellers. Now I'm finally seeing platforms developing features and benefits for us sellers. So it's just very important that I saw a switch from going buyer oriented to now seller and buyer oriented. So it's really nice to have equal protection.
Yeah. And as far as Liz Perfectly is concerned, we have a lot of surprises coming. We're going all in making sellers' lives more efficient, more profitable. And so, we have some secret projects that we are working on that we're not ready to divulge yet, but just wait, get ready.
Big.
I don't even know what else you guys can do. Like every time I turn around, there's like little Easter eggs dropped in the Liz Perfectly group. I'm like, oh my gosh, did she just type that? Or on a live session, I'm like, what? That's happening? And this is like not even 2 weeks ago, you just opened up Liz Perfectly to unlimited. Unlimited catalogs. You've always been unlimited cross-listing. I'm like, what more can you give? Like, you're already talking about the next step, and the community is still abuzz about this huge unlimited release that you put out. You two amaze me. I see every time I turn around. Every time I turn around to use List Perfectly, I'm like, oh, look at that look at that extra.
We could have never done it without you, Liz. You were our, I call you guys our angel investors, because all of you guys put your money on us, okay? We're patient. You helped us, if we were down. You guided us with the product. I call you guys my angel investors. We are List Perfectly. Thanks. And we're thankful to our community. Look, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've been a part of community just like you for a while, and our community has finally collided, and I can feel that from you. And I think that's why I like to invest in your community, in our community, because I can feel it, right? And I think that's why I post so much in the group and post so much in other groups and share information on Instagram. I think that it's very important, and I feel that from List Perfectly. And that's why we have this podcast.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you, Liz.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the support to the community and carrying always a right and positive message. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to Mandanas.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Because it's so, as sellers, what we also recognize is that it's a glass half empty, half full sometimes. And, always staying positive makes better profit. We can attest to that. When we stay in a positive mindset, in a solution-oriented mindset, our business, the Clothing Vault, thrived. If we felt kind of sad or taken down, our business went down. It very much is
a negative or a positive mindset.
Yeah.
In the positive mindset will bring abundance.
Yes.
And your negative mindset will bring you through a spiral of, it's Poshmark maybe not favoring my shop, my closet, okay? eBay is never taking care of me. And you start going that spiral. That will not help your sales. And that we learned with Amanda. And let me tell you, someone that had only $1,500 left on savings after everything I built, that's incoming from finances, okay? I cannot even tell you, only 2 hours of sleep, okay? Positive mindset, it'll carry you through.
100% feel it. Agree.
And and it's interesting because I think the positivity really shows. And for me, a couple things that really stood out before I even hopped on with List Perfectly. It's the positivity, the authenticity, the fact that you do pivot, you get out in front of issues right away. And what I really love too is obviously List Perfectly is a product, but you really work and foster a wider seller community than just one platform. It's all the platforms. And what really grabbed me was just the opportunity to be a part of this, but to, work with something that is probably, I think, the only thing out there that works across all of the seller communities. So when you say seller community, it's not just eBay or Poshmark, it's all of the sellers. And it's not, again, obviously there's a product, but there's tips that can help all sellers. There's fostering of sellers. There's learning from sellers. It's like across all the platforms. And I think that's an amazing opportunity. I think that's a big part of it. So, that's, again, what really stood out for me.
Oh, thank you, Doug. Thank you for bringing that up, because I felt like prior to us, you have to go to these paid groups or something to get those amazing tips. I know you, Liz, you've been collaborating with other Facebook groups, always helping the community. But you know what I'm talking about, with multiple channels, nobody was giving free advice.
Right.
Yeah. And what we have is specials. Lawyers don't have it. Bankers in finances don't have it. Trust me. That's why I love this e-commerce. For me, I don't even miss one day of being a lawyer. Okay. Not even once. Okay.
You don't have time. You guys are so busy.
Doing quality work takes time.
Yes.
And we're 100% invested in every way, whether it be we put our money where our beliefs are, we put our time where our beliefs are. And I gotta give major kudos to Clara, because she really believes so much in the community that she's fostering everyone to buy from each other, buy from the community. And she's taking the lead on that. Our seller source mystery box are just that. We buy from you. We buy from the sellers. And because we believe in community, we believe in fostering that, we believe in positivity, and we believe that if we're going to be the leaders in this space, we need to take action and do it. And thank you, Clara, for taking the lead on that.
Thank you for bringing that up, Mandy. It's something that is very important to me.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Liz Perfectly does mystery boxes that you can enter to win on their Instagram page. Clara came up with this brilliant idea. It's like, we are giving free mystery reseller boxes to resellers. That in itself is just amazing, right? So that we could turn around and resell them and make a profit. Clara came up with this idea in, I know that I saw it. I don't know where you came up with it, but I saw it in the Facebook group, the Liz Perfectly group. And she's like, hey, drop your closets, drop your stores. I'm going to buy your stuff. So not only is she giving to the community in a box, she's like, well, wait a minute. Instead of me going out and buy, let's just buy from the community, get it, and then I'll package it up to put in these prizes. So it's like a double win for the community. There is nobody doing that much for the community, for their community.
And
I think it's amazing.
Thank you, Lisa. Let me add, I'm buying asking price. You know, I'm not bargaining. Okay, I'm buying asking price, and I have a good eye, so I know what I'm buying. Some sellers thought that I was buying for reselling, and it was cute. And I'm like, no, I'm not in the business of reselling anymore. And they're like, oh, you just bought my best product. And I'm like, well, it's gonna no worries. You're gonna get featured. I'm gonna give you organic SEO, and we're gonna give this to a seller that is in need for products and sourcing. So the idea was originally to support small Saturday business. And then I wanted to activate some people were, hey, I don't get any sales. Remember, it was like November, December.
Yeah.
And people are like, what happened? You know, if I turn on the faucet or Poshmark, I don't know, I'm not selling anything. And I was like, wait, all you need is one little purchase. And you know how it is. And that trickles, you know, the algorithm of platforms. So I was like, let me go and I started to shop initially for me, right? I was like, okay, for me, let's see what I need in the house. And then started like, wait a second, and that's how literally as I was shopping, I saw the bright light. And then I shopped for myself, and we're going to feature the things that we're using with Amanda, and we're going to promote the shops. We're going to model the clothing that we bought from you guys. This is not done, okay? So we're going to go even farther to promote your shop. So this is very important for us.
It is. It's very important, especially in this era where, you know, Main Street is fast fading, right? It's going away, and we're seeing more aggregation of big businesses, and so the community needs this now more than ever. So thank you.
Well said, Mandy.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
So Liz, do you want to talk about Citizen, or do you want to go into background a bit? Or what do you think? Do we want to go to Citizen, or
no?
Okay. Do we want to ask a couple background questions, or do we want to go with, we love the story you told a couple of weeks ago about Amanda coming to the party with the laptop. That's a good one. So we ask you about that.
No, that's normal, Amanda. Okay. That's how I met Amanda when I invited her to my house. She comes with her little laptop. That's how I fell in love with e-commerce. Her laptop.
Yep.
Do you want to go there? You want to go there, Liz, or what do you think?
Yeah, ask the question. I think that it just really shows on the point of Amanda's always thinking, like, she has a thought and she's just going to whip out a laptop and help the community. Like, I got a thought, we're going to make an improvement. Let's just do it.
Okay, so obviously you guys are an amazing partnership. We want to, so there's a story we know, but we want you to share it with, kind of shows how Amanda's always working, but tell us a story about how you met and that party.
Oh my goodness.
So, I'm a nerd and I go everywhere with my laptop. So, I'm a reseller, right? And it's not like you could get sales on your phone back then. That wasn't a thing. So I would go everywhere with my laptop. And I went to a party with Clara, and you go ahead and finish the story.
So here it is, I invited, people to come and eat a barbecue in my house. Finally she comes, with her, and I see her coming with a laptop. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. As a former banker, when I used a laptop, I was for example, in open houses, running credit. So I was like, that caught my attention immediately, because at that time I was in banking, right? So when he tells me she's a reseller, I'm like, oh, poor thing, she's not making money. Okay, that was the belief, okay, of the financial industry about the resellers and e-commerce, right? Ooh, poor thing, she's not making money. Okay, I'll make sure I'll take care of her. So anytime, I would see socially, I would be like, hey, Amanda, here's a beer, or let me get you this or whatever, right? So then she comes and opens the laptop, and she's like, she's social, like we're having something to drink and eating. And after that, she goes to a little corner, opens the laptop, okay? And I see her working and she's like happy. And I see her smiling big. And I'm like, oh, wait, I gotta be part of this, right? And I'm like, hey, may I ask, did you get good news or something? You're like, yeah, let me show you, nerd, She's like, let me show you. And I'm like, well, this is eBay. This is what I do. And look at I just got a nice sale, a $200 sale. I'm like, oh, congratulations. I was like, $200? I have to work an hour, for that. I was like, dear Lord, so, okay. So I was like, I was interested. And then she shows me it's a vest, a Ralph Lauren vest, downhill skier, those vintage ones, right?
Yeah.
Know that at that time. It has a hole in the chest, girl. I sold it for $200. And then I was like, my next thing coming from banking industry, it's like, okay, this might not be in compliance with eBay, and I was, I didn't say anything, right? And I asked her, hey, are you sure this is in compliance? I didn't know how to speak, e-commerce was a whole different industry for me, right? I came very regulated, right?
Right.
And she's like, no, this is fine. And look, I'm showing people the whole, and I'm also describing this. And it was beautiful because she was even describing with a coin. She was giving the measurements of if it was a tear, if it was pulled, very in detail. I was like, wow, this is legit. So I asked her, could you please tell me if you ever get feedback for this person? Could you please share with me one day? And so on that next time we're socially meeting again, she shows me, hey, you asked me for this. And the guy said, thank you so much. I've been looking for this vest for the last 30 years. You made my life and my family. And I was like, what? He sent her an email crying on the vest and the whole family hugging. I'm like, okay, that's it. I gotta be part of it. I fell in love with e-commerce right then and there. I realized she was banking. She just came from Europe, from traveling all over with the mom all over Europe. I was like, oh, no. Once you hear that, you can't hear it. So I couldn't picture myself going back to banking and working 12 hours a day again. And I was like, I gotta test this freedom a little. And I was like, hey, can I do that entry for you?
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Rest is history. And just not very many people know this as well. This is how much of a nerd I am. So we like to travel. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but there's a walk in Spain called the Camino de Santiago. It's a 500-mile walk. You start in France, you end in Santiago de Compostela city in Spain. And I brought my laptop on the 500 on the smallest laptop I possibly could.
Tiny.
And I packed it in my backpack. So every day I could log in and do something.
Oh my gosh. That's hardcore. That is hardcore reselling.
I was in Argentina working remotely, managing the clothing vault remotely.
Yeah.
So that was the first time we did VAs because I have my employees here in Phoenix, okay, doing pictures and doing product description. And I'm from Argentina, cross-posting, doing inventory management, payment management, payment processing. So, yep. When she was there, I was in Argentina and I was managing everything remotely. That was Liz Clothing. Well, that was back in 2017 or 16.
And that's how you build a $500,000 company off of used vintage clothing.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that was
hardcore.
That was reselling. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, reselling.
Yep.
So I'm going to hop in again and ask my favorite question. So for each of you, what was the first thing you ever bought and sold online? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I do. It was my restaurant equipment. So I would say the biggest things that I did was I didn't have very much money when I started my restaurant equipment, so I had to haggle and get the best deal. So when it didn't work out and I sold it online, I would sell, ovens and pots and everything for a profit. And so it was all that stuff.
I don't think I remember what's the first thing I sold online because I was assisting her. So I remember I was doing a lot of 70s. She would give me batches by eras. So I remember doing a 70s batches, which I have no knowledge of vintage lingo or anything. So that's what the closest I can get. And my first purchase online was way back in 2007 in overstock.com, a flat screen. I'll never forget. I bought a 38 inches flat screen TV and I got it 2-day delivery. I'll never forget. It was an incredible deal and experience.
Wow. That's awesome.
What was your most memorable sale?
Oh,
okay.
Wait, but so Amanda is in LA, right? So she's in Beverly Hills, okay? So she's going all over Beverly Hills. We are shopping. When we start growing the business, we start growing. Obviously, we were selling very, very expensive products. So then she calls me one day. I'm at home doing logistics and as I always do ops and so forth. And she's shopping around, right? And she's like, Clara, I have a feeling you know what is this. Vicuna. So, and I'm like, oh, get it. I'm like, go for it. Get it now. I didn't even have to hear it. Okay. So vicunas are a very rare, it's like a llama, but that grows only in very high in Argentina and Bolivia. And that's it, I believe. Peru, yes, Peru, and yes, in Peru. So they're very delicate animals. And that vicuna wool, okay, is so expensive that they always say royalties only use it.
Mm-hmm.
So she finds a first coat that we buy for $100. That coat was sold, okay, for $10,000, okay. Then she finds another one, okay. This one has moth holes, okay. We bought it for $6 and we sold it for $5,000. So then we found the woman's by three. She found three. What are the odds to find 3 vicunas
Separately?
That one you pay for the woman's one. You pay like a 15, I think. You pay a little more for that.
No,
one.
I think $7.
Oh, 7?
Yeah,
okay.
$7.
And then the woman's coat, I put it for auction and went like 1,800.
Yeah,
and had holes and everything.
And that is the adrenaline of reselling.
Yep. Treasures are out there.
And we sold it in what? The one that we sold for 10,000 took us like a year to sell. And then the other one sold like.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a rush.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that reminds me of another good question. So what is for each of you one thing you wish you knew then that you know now? Or maybe if you could go back and give yourself a piece of reselling advice, what would it be?
Rest more, okay? Reselling is a very demanding job. Try to turn off your phone. Don't let that cha-ching in the middle of the night disrupt your much needed rest. That's what I wish I would have done. I was so driven by the sales. As someone that has arthritis now and 40, 46, I know for a fact I would have been able to delay this condition. Okay. I wish I took for granted my youth and I was working, and no, she never forced me, but I wish I would have rested more. I still remember I would start at 3 a.m. listing. Okay. By noon, I already have my batches and everything ready, So I wish I would have done that. Take care of myself, rest more and eat more balance. Instead of waking up at 3 a.m. and sometimes I would travel 3 times a month from Phoenix to Los Angeles the same day to get inventory. And I would come with the car fully loaded inside and outside. She would be waiting, we would unload the car, take it to the dry cleaner and so forth. It was an incredible work. Was it fun and profitable? Yes, but it requires more resting and your business will be even more profitable.
And, for me, I would say establish your niche early in something that you really like and get to know it in and out. because there's a lot of people that like to say you make money when you buy a product, and that is really true when you have the knowledge and you're buying the right product, because not everything is profitable. It's just not. And so I feel that we had to learn a lot by mistakes, that, you know, now the knowledge is out there. People are sharing. It's a lot easier to understand what is going to sell well, what's going to sell fast. You know, there are some products that you could buy and flip fast. There are other products that you'll buy, you'll make a nice profit, but you might have to sit on them for a little while. So you have to always keep that in mind. Knowing your niche in and out is going to help you a lot.
Well said.
Those are amazing. Amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. And just one quick thing. So Clara, back when you said that you realized if you started reselling, you could get out of banking and working those 12-hour days. So now you're reselling and working, what, 16-hour days? So the rest really comes in and is important there.
The rush. It's the rush. I never was expected to get that sales rush. It's just incredible. And when you touch your first 100,000, it's like you're over the moon. And then when you touch your first quarter, it's like, and it's like I became, I think, a little addicted to it. So I wish I would have, rested a little more.
What is the saying? Do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life.
Yep.
I think a lot of resellers can really resonate with that have worked kind of like Clara, both of you, coming from corporate jobs, coming from full-time hustles, making other people money, and then coming and doing something that you love, to where the 12 and 14-hour days just don't feel like it.
No. It's total different working 12, 14 hours for yourself than working for another company. It's the stress management it's not possible in corporate America to maintain yearly performance, year after year performance with that amount of hours. Being an entrepreneur, that's absolutely possible, will bring you success. Just know that your body, hers, she manages stress differently. And that's what I think. You always respect your sleeping time. She's very good at that with her diet. And that's what I learned from her. She respects her sleeping time. And I know the joke is, Amanda, when do you sleep? She does, okay? And she has she's very balanced on her diet, very healthy. And I see the difference.
That's awesome. So the rest of the questions don't really fit in. So
yeah, I mean, but yeah, we're at an hour. I mean, we've covered a lot. We can wrap up and just a couple of closers and then wrap it up. But this has been awesome.
Thank you, guys. I love it.
Amanda and Clara, do you have anything else you would like to share with our listeners today?
Yes. I would like to share with our listeners, okay, that as someone that is self-made, okay, when I started this industry, many people, and even my family question, okay, you're a lawyer, for goodness sake, what are you going to be doing reselling, right? Reselling has been the best decision I've done in my life. It's an incredible journey. Might not be the destination, but go ahead, embark on this journey. It'll make your dreams come true. Might not be the destination, and who cares? But it's what an incredible journey, and the community is there. Come and join us. Get to know this community. Come and try reselling. It's life-changing.
Yeah, and for me, I would just say, just please stay positive. No matter what, it will get you through tough times if you have them, and for the good times, you'll enjoy them that much more.
Well said. And I want to add, it will get you through the hard times, even when I have to sell my mother's jewelry and my mother's coat. And I never even show her a tear. And I'll remember hiding because I didn't want her to get any negative or doubt, because she was coding. I remember, and I went to the farthest part of the building, and I cried because I have to ship my mom's coat and my mom's jewelry. And it was so hard, Liz, to let go. And it kept List Perfect at that time, List Clothing going. So do whatever it takes. We all have $200 in the closet. Do whatever it takes. Then you can flip those $200 in 400, and then it goes. So who cares? You have to sell that beautiful pair of shoes. You'll get a much more beautiful pair of shoes or laptop or whatever it is. Okay, it'll work. Be positive.
Well, yeah, and you're helping people, realize their dreams and change their lives, and that's what's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is. I think that I could sit here for another 3 hours and ask you so many rapid fire questions. But I'd like for our listeners to be able to follow up and, be a part of this community. Where can our listeners find List Perfectly?
Oh, great question. The first place that I would recommend to come and join us is in our Facebook, List Perfectly Facebook group. The reason I ask you to come and join us there is because we're always there with Amanda, and we're gathering and receiving your feedback. It's an incredible tool to communicate with you in lifetime and understand your concerns, your suggestions, your issues. So that's the number one. We're also on Instagram or YouTube, in our website, of course, listperfectly.com. And I'm so excited now with our podcast. We're also going to have a special part for our podcast and our blog. So.
And of course, listperfectly.com.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And you'll be back on again. You'll be on plenty of times. You want to come back, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think so. Do you want to have me back?
Okay,
Yeah.
so Amanda said that there's things in the pipeline. Can't see what they are yet. Cannot wait to have you back when that announcement breaks to share with our community. So I promise you will be back.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be back. We can't wait. And when we're more ready to share, we can
Absolutely
wait to reveal what we're working on.
It's coming. And we have very soon big features coming really soon. But the biggest features, we're going to say this one, it's something that we promise you guys been asking, and we're taking notes, and it's coming.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And I can't wait to come back.
Ladies and sorry, I cut you off.
Thank you, Doug and Liz. I really enjoyed being here, and I can't wait to be back and give those announcements.
Thank you. Today we've shared Amanda and Clara, the co-founders, CEO, COO of List Perfectly. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.